Bom dia, guys, or good morning. It's your boy CJ, aka the Cash Flow Soldier. I want to get on here and, you know how I do. I just talk about real estate all day. I want to get on here and try to break it down to as simple as possible. Wait, got a rock in my shoe. I want to break it down as simple as possible on why I think you guys should be thinking about getting into real estate. And when I say getting into real estate, a lot of you folks are probably thinking, he's talking about buying apartment buildings or buying investment properties. And, I don't want to do all that because I ain't got time for that, or I don't know how to do it. I'm too afraid. I want to get on here and try to break it down to as simple as possible. So I pretty much beat it into your head on why you should be in real estate and try to change your perspective. So for me, I'm a 40 plus year old retired veteran, grandkids, kids, little kids. I got them all, you know. And you might probably thinking, you're probably looking at some of the videos thinking, hey, this guy, he don't come on enough for me to listen to him and follow him. And you know what? I don't ask anybody to pay me for anything either. I'm on here because I want to be on here because I think everyone should have the information on what's possible and what they can do to free up their time, live life the way they want to live. When I say that, right now, we sold all of our real estate. We had 14 units, and we got those 14 units in less than 2 years. But we sold all that. But while we had all of that a couple of years back, we had everything we wanted. And we still have everything we want now, but we just had to come down a little bit on the luxury stuff. Like we don't have the Cadillacs anymore. We had the most expensive Cadillac they make. We had the Nissan Titans, the RVs, brand new Nissan Rogues, the family caravan, the house with two houses, the real estate with the two houses on it where we lived in. We didn't even use the back house. We had all that because we had real estate bringing in cash flow for us every month, allowing us to have those luxuries. Now, can we have those luxuries right now? No, because we decided to retire and we know better. But, while we were doing the real estate thing, which we still do, we flip houses, we were able to have all this extra stuff that we pretty much really didn't need. But a lot of people want these things. A lot of people want the Cadillac Platinum, the Platinum Cadillacs with the steps that come out by themselves and the massaging seats and all that stuff. A lot of people want stuff like that. A lot of people want RVs. We knew we wanted to try it out. So while we were capable, we did. But we also knew better. We knew that we wanted to actually retire, and not have any stress, because when you're in real estate, you got to manage your property manager still. I don't care how good your property manager is, you still got to manage your property manager. But we don't want that stress anymore, so we sold all our properties and we moved somewhere, Portugal, where we can live off of retirement. So that's where we're at right now. But I'm retired and I don't have to do all this. I don't have to come on here and try to coach you guys or give you some insight on what's possible for you. I don't have to do all that, but I do it because I think there's so many people that's capable of doing what we did in that, maybe even a shorter time frame, less than 2 years. But there's so many people capable of doing what we did and, getting everything they want in life. Whether you want a Cadillac or whether you want an RV or whether you want a couple of houses on one property, that's up to you. But you're fully capable of doing it the way we did it. And we did it through house hacking. Now, I said I was going to break this down to the most simplest of descriptions, of breaking it down to how you can do it. The most simplest way is everyone needs somewhere to live. Everyone, you, me, your neighbors, your aunts, your uncles, grandparents, everyone needs somewhere to live. So why not live somewhere where you're going to get paid to live there? And that's what house hacking is, essentially. You're living somewhere and you're getting paid to live there. Yeah, it's crazy. You are living somewhere, you're getting paid to live there. Somebody is paying you to live where you're living. That's house hacking. And you know, no matter what your circumstances are, you can flip it any way you want. I mean, I know the American dream is you want a white picket fence in the nicest neighborhood in your area with the best schools, blah 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 blah. I'm here to tell you folks that ain't it, unless you got cash flow paying for that. If you don't have cash flow paying for that single family house that you just bought in the best neighborhood, if you're actually working to live there, then you hustling backwards, baby. I don't care if you don't like what I'm saying. You need to be listening because you're hustling backwards. Because God forbid something happens, and if you're working for a company, most of us are working for somebody else, and that company goes under. Now you stuck like Chuck. I don't know who Chuck is, but you stuck like him because you don't have any income paying for that property. So guess what you got to do? You're gonna have to move on out, sell it, get what you can for it. Oh dear, you're gonna have to sell it, get what you can for it. I don't know what you're gonna do, but you can't keep that property if you're not making any money to pay for it. So that's when house hacking comes in, because guess what? Even if you lose your job when you're house hacking, even if you lose your job, your tenants and the other units or wherever, whether you got commercial, house hacking, whatever you got going on, they're paying you still to live there. So you lost your job, you can't pay the mortgage on your part, but guess what? You got all this cash flow that can pick up the slack. And that's how you hack the system. And that's how you keep from hustling backwards. I know they want us to hustle backwards. That's what the system is built off of. It's built off of everyone hustling backwards. You know, putting into your mind that, hey, you got to have this big fancy car before you have cash flow. They don't say it like that, but essentially that's what's happening. They're telling you you need to have this fancy house, the white picket fence, with the neighbors that wave to you all the time. You need to have all this stuff before you have cash flow. So once you go ahead and get your doctorate, master's degree, everything, and come work for me, and you can get those things. But what they don't tell you, it's probably in the fine print when you sign your contracts. This is hustling backwards. That's what they don't tell you. I'm here to tell you, world, that ain't it. And I'm glad we learned that ain't it before I retired from government service. Because, we got a little taste, we went and got all our luxuries that we wanted. And we was like, hell, this ain't it. But we had what we wanted. We house hacked. We got our 14 units. They were paying for everything we wanted in life. We thought we wanted. A lot of people still think they want that. I'm just trying to tell you how to get it. And, house hacking is the way. It was easy for us. My mother-in-law, she was living down in Miami and a hurricane hit. She had nowhere to go because her house was all flooded out. She was renting, so she could leave anytime she wanted. But instead of staying in Miami, trying to find a spot, she came to live with us because we had the extra space at the time. It was only our second home. It wasn't as big as our first home, the home that we thought we needed, the white picket fence. It wasn't as big as that house, but it had enough room for them to come bring their 2 dogs or 3 dogs and still be comfortable, us still be comfortable, So we let them come move with us. But that wasn't it either. So we was like, hey, hold up now. We've been studying. We know about house hacking. let's put it into play. We went and bought a 4 unit. Everybody moved into it. Us, them, and then we had 2 tenants move into. And then we rented out the house that we had from the get go. The 2 houses we had from the get go. So now we have 6 units paying us cash flow, getting us the new vehicles, taking us to Disney World on there, you know. And we was like, oh man, we on to something now. So now we up to 6. You know, 2 years later, that's when the hack really kicked in because we were able to sell that 4 unit because we fixed it up. We were able to sell it for so much more. We took that extra money and we went and bought all the rest of the units under our LLC. So now we have 14 units in less than 2 years, just breaking in cash flow. It was amazing, dude. You guys won't be able to understand until it actually kicks in, until you like get a duplex or a quadruplex or something like that, and you actually see cash flow coming into your account every month from the tenants paying you money to live, and you house hacking. You live right next door. You know, if you got a 4 unit, you live downstairs. There's so many different ways to do it. You could just be living in a big old house and you want to rent out one of the rooms for $500 a month to a student. That's house hacking. There's so many different ways of doing it. And possibilities are, it's phenomenal, dude. Let's see where we're at right now. I'm in Caldas Ranha now in Portugal. Just walking the streets because I got plenty of time. Get on here with you guys. Maybe I go to Peter Dolce and get me something to snack on. But it's amazing how we have so many folks where we from with these possibilities. They have this capability, but they don't know about it. And that's why I'm on here all the time. Maybe not every day, but I'm on here enough that you guys can take these little nuggets and put them into action. And I don't mind if you guys DM me. You guys could DM me and ask me questions, while I'm still for free. Because eventually I'm going to get too many people asking me questions and I'm going to have to charge. But right now, I love putting this information out and giving it to you guys for free. Because it makes me feel good knowing that I think I did my part, especially for the veterans and stuff like that who can house hack with VA loans, or people who's hip to the FHA process or the USDA process, or people that can hack it a little bit better. If you guys are picking up these nuggets and you putting them into action, good on me. I'm happy. But you gotta do your research. You gotta know, remember we're breaking this down into the simplest terms. You gotta know that what your max price you can pay for a home is to get your cash flow. So let's say we buy a home for $200,000. It's a 4 unit. That's $50,000 per unit. Now, if you're like me, you're not paying any down payment because I used a VA loan. So your payment is going to be what, $1,600 a month. So you got to know all the rents you're going to pay. They got to equal more than that $1,600 a month that you're going to be paying. You got to know these things. You got to do your research. You got to know that you're possibly going to have maintenance. So you got to calculate that into your numbers for possibilities. You got to know that you got to pay insurance. You got to know that you're possibly going to have to pay some utilities for the place because it might not have separate utilities. You got to know these things. You got to know how to screen your tenants. I'm not. This might seem like a lot, but it really ain't. Because once you do it one time and you do it the right way, you're going to be able to do it every time. You got to know how to hire and fire your property managers. We have to do that. You can't be afraid to talk to these people because they work for you. You got to know what locations are going to be secure for you. You know, I grew up in the hood, so I'm comfortable in the hood. I ain't really a hood dude. 'Cause I don't roll like that, but I'm comfortable in the hood. I'll survive. But some people can't. Some landlords ain't gonna be able to walk in the hood because they don't know how to act. They gonna go there with their Mercedes Benzes and stuff like that. I'm gonna go there with my Honda Civic. I'm smart. You know, some people they gotta realize just because it's cheap don't mean it's good. You know, it is what it is. But there is opportunity there if you know how to move. You gotta know that change is coming. If you see a neighborhood and all of a sudden they put a McDonald's there or they put a Walmart there, it wasn't there before. Before it was all boarded up houses. You gotta know these big companies they're already doing their research. They know change is coming. So you should take that hint that change is coming also. I know if I see a McDonald's go up in the hood anywhere or a new apartment complex go up in the hood, a nice one, I know change is coming. So I know that's where I need to look at if I'm gonna flip. Or I ain't necessarily gonna buy and hold there or house hack there, but if I'm gonna flip, you know, those are the possible neighborhoods. What else? You gotta know what taxes. You gotta know your taxes. So I mean, a lot of this stuff is free to you, like Zillow, LoopNet, Redfin, all these little websites and apps. They give you this information, and then you can go directly to the city's websites, the county's websites, and you get that information also. You gotta learn how to do that, so you can find owners. I go on there, I take an address, I can find the owner's name and mailing address right away off the city website. You gotta know how to do these things. I mean, it sounds hard, but it's not. It's definitely not. And if you're not sure how to do these things, you can DM me or you can go on these groups. They have an app called Meetup in the States. You download that app and they have real estate investment groups. They do meetings all the time. For the most part, they're free. It's just people networking. That's all it is. They're networking, you know, to advance their opportunities. They'll have a meetup at a hotel, lounge or something like that, or a coffee shop. And you can go there and you talk to these people, especially if they're in the neighborhoods that you're looking to invest in. It's super simple. You just got to have the drive and the motivation. Just a little bit of drive and motivation. I'm not knocking everyone, man. Some people are comfortable where they at. Some people are comfortable, you know, they got their salary coming in and they know that salary is coming or they think they know what's coming. Some people are comfortable like that. They don't know no better. You don't know what you don't know. But I'm here to tell you, you hustling backwards. Definitely hustling backwards if you're working for somebody else and you're not utilizing that income to make money for yourself. So if you're making money and your money that you're making is not making money for you, you're still hustling backwards. I label you as a consumer, only a consumer. Definitely not an investor. And if you're going to advance in today's society, you have to somehow be some kind of investor. You got to go on those YouTubes and you got to, tap into Welby Acelia. You know, that's at my best 197. You got to tap into Thatch Nguyen. You got to tap into Rich Journey. You got to tap into uh, um, uh, Amana Christina over there, Rich Journey, our Rich Journey. You got to tap into what's his name? The Rich Dad Poor Dad guy, Robert Kiyosaki. You got to tap into these folks, man, because they have so much information out there for you, and it's all free. It's online. It's right there in your hands. You have it in your hand right now. All the information you need to better yourself. or to better your situation, or to advance your situation. I ain't gonna say better. I'm gonna say advance your situation. Make it so that your money is making money for you. Your future is a little bit brighter because you know if something happens, you're secure. It's all right here in your hand. You're looking at it right now. Whether you're on a computer, whether you're on a phone, it's available to you. So yeah, you guys have no excuse, zero excuse. Yeah, the folks in the background greeting each other. I'm like the youngest cat walking around. Everyone 50, 60 walking around. It's kind of weird, but it feels good. You know, the wife's at the nail salon right now getting her nails done. She's the only 40-year-old person in the nail salon. Well, she's the only one that looks like she's 40 at least. I don't know. The other ones might be 40. They don't look like they're 40. But we're the youngest ones walking around on the beach and stuff all the time. That's because we knew that if we continue to hustle backwards, we're going to be stuck behind a desk doing what we don't want to do. So I'm basically begging you guys to get out there and find a way to accumulate wealth for yourself. You got to get it done. And I'm here to help you. I mean, I can't answer every DM because, like I said, I ain't getting paid to do this shit. I'm just doing it because I want to do it because I think it needs to be done. That's just my mentality. But, you know, the lucky ones that do tap in and I respond to, I'm going to help you as much as I can because you're showing initiative. You know, you got to take the first step. I always say that. You got to take the first step, and initiating a conversation with someone who's done it before is the first step. And it took me a while to understand that. I had a buddy back when I was at E5 living in Japan. This guy had 5 houses. You know, we both were E5 and we both from New York. I'm like, how the heck did you get 5 houses? He said, CJ, every time I moved, I bought a house because I knew that property values were going to go up because they always do. So every time he moved, he had a house in Philadelphia. He had 2 houses in Virginia. His wife had a house, but before they got married, she had a house too. She was smart also. She's smart also. You know, and he asked me, he said, CJ, why you don't have any houses? You know, 10 years in the military. Why you don't have any houses? And that always stayed in the back of my mind when he said that. You know, I felt bad, but I was also interested. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Why don't I have any houses? I'm freaking living my life. I'm single. I'm living overseas. I'm doing what I want to do. Why the hell would I have a house I got to worry about? That's that mindset that they drill into you. You don't know it, but seeing it on TV all the time, or you know, seeing your parents do it, that's that mindset that's drilled into you, and you're not realizing what's happening is they're drilling in that hustling backwards mindset. And you know, I ain't knocking the workforce. Somebody got to do the work, you know, and you know, bosses and you know, you know, entities, they know that somebody's got to do the work. You know, the education system was built off of it. You know, back in the days, you know, Carnegie and Rockefeller and all them folks, they knew what they needed, so they built the school system to generate workers, and it's successful because that's what we have—a bunch of workers. We got a bunch of. You guys ever seen the movie Ants? Or I think it's called Ants. But that's basically what our society is. You know, you got the one queen ant, and she's got all these workers that have specific duties to make sure the colony survives. I'm not knocking it. It's something that needs to be done. I'm just saying you don't have to be at the bottom of it. You could be the queen bee, or the king bee, or the king ant, whatever you want to call it. You could be at the top of that pyramid. You know, I mean, I'm somewhere in Portugal. You probably can't see back there because I put the little cinematic view on it. But they're building houses everywhere around here. And I know for a fact this country is a couple of years behind the states when it comes to industrialization and productivity. I'm pretty sure. But you can be living overseas in these nice died down neighborhoods. When I say died, I mean like they're a lot calmer than the states. While your money is making money for you. It's, it might seem crazy, but it's 100% possible. And I know for a fact most of you guys out there get there. So I think it's about time for me to go back and get my wife from the nail salon. But I just want to end it off by saying the first step is the most important step. And if you know you're trying to, you want to get away from hustling backwards, being stuck in that 9 to 5, you need to be looking at getting into real estate. It's probably one of the easiest ways to do it. You can go win the lottery. You can go catch that 50-50 ball from that cat from the Dodgers and sell it for $4 million. You can do that. I mean, is it likely? No. But real estate is very likely. 90% of the millionaires in the States are millionaires because of real estate. We had $2.5 million worth of real estate at our peak at that 2 year mark. $2.5 million. So if we didn't have any mortgages to pay on those houses, we have wealth of $2.5 million plus whatever wealth we had before. But we had mortgages, of course, but we were still bringing in cash flow, so we didn't mind. And we knew our strategy was to get rid of them at the end. But could you imagine what you could do with $2.5 million? What the S&P 500 would do for you if you invested that $2.5 million? You could just live off the dividends for the rest of your life. And your kids could probably live off of that too. That's a whole nother subject. That's something you got to tap into Our Rich Journey to talk about that stuff. They're the experts on that stuff. But folks, just get out there, do a little investigation. Gotta be on me. Do a little investigating. Learn the terms. Hit me on the DMs. Whatever you want to do, but get started. Cash Flow Soldier signing up.